Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to say my view about this Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2020 Promulgation Bill 2020. Madam Speaker, laws are made for people, and the merit and the principle of this particular bill is that the 1997 Constitution, we don't see it as something befitting to our condition. And that was the reason why we set up CRC to come up with a new constitution. Madam Speaker, I only want to ask the Justice Minister this particular question, because it has been going on the social media that the NAMs don't have any right to touch even a comma on this constitution. So if that is the case, then after your clarification, Honorable Minister will take my decision. But Madam Speaker, in the merit and the principles, when I'm making a law, you make a law for all the people in the country, but you don't make law out of sentiment, or you make law out of emotion. And if that happens, then we will see that particular law as discriminatory, meaning that, it's discriminating a section of society, or maybe it's made for an individual. So with those reasons, Madam Speaker, I will reserve my opinion till the Honorable Minister come and clarify that whether we can either make a changes on this particular constitution or not. If not, then therefore my decision to this particular constitution is 100% no. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, most of the issues I want to highlight here are taken care of by my colleagues, but nevertheless, I'll be very brief and go straight to the point. Let me first go to the President's nomination of ministers. Madam Speaker, I believe that you have the three terms of government. That's the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And we are all advocating that they should be independent. So this is why I have the belief that the President should nominate his ministers without coming to the Parliament for approval. But more so also, you have to know that if you are saying that all these organs should be independent, the President also should not have a hand in selecting National Assembly members. Because he also has also nominated members here. So if you are saying that we should not involve in his appointment of minister, he should also not have any hand in nominating National Assembly members. So that is my stand. So, Madam Speaker, let me go to the judiciary. Most of the members have stated Section 195 is talking about the renewal and retirement of the judges. Madam Speaker, it says that any judge who is retired will retire with your salary. And it further went to say that when you retire, when a sitting judge salary increases, the retiree also salary, his retirement benefit will be increasing. I think we should look at that very, very carefully. And I think I want to be guided by the minister. If that is so, why is this specially for the judiciary, the judges? Why not the legislative? Why not the executive? And why not other public servants or civil servants? So I want to be guided by the minister. And went further to their budget even. They said their budget, when they bring their budget this year, the next year is not touched on their budget. Madam Speaker, they may bring this year the budget and they included buildings and even buying of cars or so many things. And the next year they don't need that. Why would you leave that there? Is that not misplacement of priorities? So I don't know why they put it there, but I'm totally not in support because we have to realize that our economy, we have a tax-based economy here. And we see the problems we have here. Even the National Assembly itself, we don't have what we want. Every year we don't have what we want. So why you are saying that we should not touch the budget of the judiciary? Madam Speaker, the other thing is the qualification of judges, section 191. So really, we need to Gambia. We want to have to Gambianize our judiciary system, right? But for me, I think we need also to consider, we need to open a room, a small room, for other countries to be participating in our judiciary system, especially the Commonwealth countries. Because if some of our also Gambians are practicing in Commonwealth countries, if they also close their room, what will happen to our people? And also, look, the sample, why I say this, because I can remember the office of the DPP, still now, they are advertising the position, I think, for almost a year now. They cannot be a Gambian. If I can be corrected by the minister, who is going to man this position, still now? So this is why I said we need to open, I think, room to include the Commonwealth countries. Madam Speaker, the other thing is section 62, that's the Pacific rights. You call it the economic and social rights. Yes, it's a good dream. You need to have all those rights if possible. But my concern is the rights they mentioned there are numerous. Really, we need to have, but the economic realities, you have to look at the economic realities of the country. But if not, to me, you'll start, when this constitution is enacted, we will start seeing people going to court. Because you may assume that a particular community may say, I don't have water, and I should have water because it is their right. So people will end up going to court, and the government will have a problem because the economy cannot sustain it. So me, I want them to include the economic realities of the country. So that's my concern. But I need to be guided by the minister also on that. And also you look at, there's a section that has mentioned a lot of commissions. Also, I'm saying that we have to look at the economic realities. For example, we have seen the Human Rights Commission here when the commission is set for over a year or a year. They don't have an office. They don't have staff because of the money, the economy. So we don't want to form commissions or to bring commissions while we cannot pay. So let's commissions, if we are forming commissions, we form commissions that we know that we can pay the commission members and it can be sustainable. So this is my concern. Madam Speaker, the other thing is section 27 talks about full public civil servant, full-time public civil servant shall not engage in gainful employment. Madam Speaker, when you look at this, Madam Speaker, I think we want to make some of our institutions very vulnerable or handicapped. A member has mentioned here, you go to university, most of the lecturers, especially the law schools, are lawyers and are working somewhere else. You go to the clinics, most of the doctors and nurses are working in private clinics or pharmacies. And we know that the African men are in. So if you want to bring that, most of these people will leave the public service and go to private service. And also, that will hamper the clinics or some of the institutions. So, Madam Speaker, I think, okay, and also section 147, the speaker. They said the speaker should be selected from outside. But my concern is, how can it be selected by outside? No process. Are you going to the street and bring somebody to select as a speaker? Or are you going to nominate? Or are you going to shortlist? Who's going to shortlist? How is it? We need the process. But we need the process. We have to be guided by the process. Madam Speaker, the other concern is the chieftaincy. Because as I say, when you are elected, once elected, you are there for life. Madam Speaker, I think you are all talking here that when you overstay, you become a dictator. So my concern here is If somebody is elected and is here for life, he will do whatever he wants because he will know that nobody will challenge me on my position. So I need to be guided. And I want, if possible, let them be elected as National Assembly, as the president and other people. Every 5 years, let your people gauge you and know whether we want you to lead them or not. So that also. And Madam Speaker, clause 7.3, the supremacy of the court. Let me read that one. That any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution is void to the extent of, section 3. The validity or legality of this Constitution is not subject to challenges by or before any court or other organ of the state. To my understanding, it is saying that when this draft Constitution became the Constitution of the Republic of Gambia, nobody should have right, whatever is here, should have right to challenge it in the courts. And we are talking of many rights here. So to me, I want to be guided by the minister also, please. We are very sorry, although you usually come, the starting of the process, we are not there, but anyway, this is the law. This is the procedures. We have to. Okay, and the other thing, Madam Speaker, we have to. Why I want to be clear on this issue is we have to know that after all this process, this draft Constitution is going to a body, and that body will resolve for interpretation and enforcement of this Constitution. So this is I want everything that is here be clear, so that everything should be clear to everybody. Because I don't want when this goes to that body, every time people will go in to the courts for interpretation. So, Madam Speaker, one thing I want to advise members and myself is that when we are voting for this Constitution, let's vote on the basis of the merit and progressive nature of the contents of this draft. Not that the 1997 Constitution is bad. It's not bad. And the campaign strategy, Madam Speaker, people are using can hamper the progress of this draft. Because some of them are using 1970s as kind of attaching it to a political party, which I think when it is done, this can sway the electorate to vote on political lines. And that is not our intention. This is a national document. This is not a political document. It doesn't belong to any political party. It belongs to the Gambian people. What we want is the progress of the Gambia. What is good for the Gambia? So I'm advising, because why I say this is, somebody called me yesterday and said, Honorable, I don't know him. He started talking about this Constitution. I told me that this Constitution, you know, a party is doing that. I tell him that you are convincing a wrong person then. You want to convince him, then you are convincing a wrong person. He said, why? I think it's Honorable Kamara. I said, yes. Honorable Kamara of a party. He said, no, you know, you are reasonable. I said, you said I'm foolish, and you said I'm reasonable again. So you see, this is why I said we should vote not on political lines. We should not campaign not on political lines. Let us campaign on the merits and the progressive nature of this text. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Sorry.
Point of order.
Honorable Woolley West, Woolley East, please. Can we have one
Point
meeting?
of order, Madam Speaker.
No, please, Woolley East. No, I'm not giving you the floor.
Thank you. It's my right, Honorable Speaker. You cannot be, how to call it,
Honorable Woolley East.
No, what I'm saying, it's a point of order.
Honorable Woolley East.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
He has to listen to the chair. Please, both of you have to listen to the chair. Honorable Woolley East.
Okay.
Woolley East.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not giving you the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
No. I said, I have not given you the floor. All right, thank you. you will be next, but not now. Kiang East. Honorable Member for Kiang East. Can't you say?
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor, because I wanted to observe the member for Serekunda, my mentor. Yes, clause 34. Clause 34. Yes, clause 34 of the standing order. 34(1) of the standing order. Yes, you can carry on. Page 17. And the closure of the debate. Yes. 1. After the question on the motion, the mover of which has the right to reply has been proposed any member, any rising in his or her place and moved, that the mover be now called upon to reply, unless the speaker is of the opinion that such motions is abuse of ruling of the National Assembly, of the Assembly, or sorry, I cannot pronounce it very well, of the right of a member. The questions that move be now called upon the reply shall be put forthwith and decide without amendment or debate if the agreed to. The mover may immediately reply to the debate as soon as the mover has concluded, or immediate if the mover does not wish to reply. The speaker shall put the question on the motion. What I'm saying here, Madam Speaker, here is, I wanted to observe the member for Serekunda, that when people put question to the minister.
I'm not saying you are right or wrong, but that ought to have been raised at the time.
Because I requested, I requested the floor.
Just a second, at the time, but you're reading closure of debate. No debate has closed yet.
Here,
so I will overrule that, please.
The member for Serekunda is not the mover.
Point of order. There is no need to prolong this because it's not an issue. We're not together, we're not on the same wavelength. This is closure of debate. What he has referred to is closure of debate. No debate has closed yet.
Point of
for
order.
a mover to be called upon to respond. So, Honorable Member for Lower Salum, you are overruled. Who was on the floor?
Honorable Speaker.
Combo is, can I please allow, no, it's Kiang. It's Kiang. Sorry.
All right.
Honorable Speaker, somebody is raising point of order. Can you give him the opportunity, please?
I have a point of order. Yes, but you are not directing me to take Honorable Member for Serekunda, am I? No, if he wants to raise a point, everybody has been given a chance.
Yes, Honorable.
Nobody has ever been denied a chance.
No.
Am I right or wrong?
You are right.
Yes, so if he wants to raise a point, he can raise his tag and then refer us to the relevant section and we proceed. Because as I always say, nobody has monopoly over knowledge. We are always guided by our collective will here. And if A is wrong, B might come on and show us the right, that we should do A. Let's look at A, B, and C. But I don't want the impression to be given that, anybody is being denied. Thank you. Serekunda, what do you want?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I was raising a point of order against the member mentioning my name and attaching me to something that has nothing to do with me, because I've always intervened under Standing Order 32, which says very clearly...
But Honorable, my only point there is that I had overruled him. So the issue is expunged from the records.
Well, it's okay.
Period.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you.
And I hope you refer to standing
Thank
order.
you, yeah. Kiang is, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to take part in this historic debate. Indeed, it's a historic moment for all of us here. Before I begin my intervention, I would like to put on record that I am one of those National Assembly members who is going to vote in favor of this new draft constitution. Honorable Speaker, may I say that should anything happen to me before the vote is taken, please, I want honorable members to remember me as one of those who are in favor of this bill. Why? Because it represents the wishes and aspirations of my people. Since this whole issue came up, I have never received a single call from my constituency denying or rejecting this draft constitution. All the calls that I received so far have urged me to support this. So I am doing it on the basis of that, actually, and on the basis of the greater good of the Gambian people. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, let me begin by appreciating all the efforts invested into this constitution by the CRC. Lest we forget, it is this very National Assembly who in December 2017 passed the CRC Act to have the 1997 Constitution reviewed. Now, why did we want to review the 1997 Constitution in the first place? It is because it was found to be defective. There were a lot of defects in that Constitution. It has been amended over 50 times. And when this new government, of course, and the National Assembly came into existence, one of the fundamental changes that we wanted to do was to change the 1997 Constitution. And for me, honestly, I find it quite intriguing that the same National Assembly members who spoke in favor of reviewing the Constitution are now turning around and trying to condemn the National Assembly Constitution, the new draft Constitution. I definitely find that intriguing. Honorable Speaker, you know, this whole exercise has been a very, very expensive one. A lot of material resources was invested in it. A lot of human resources was invested in it. And a lot of financial resources was invested in it to a tune of over $116 million. Now, rejecting this constitution is like, you know, sending all that money into the drain. This is something that we need to look at properly. One of the aims of the Constitution, if I may read from my notes, is that the CRC stated clearly in their executive summary that the constitutional review was meant to uphold and respect for the rule of law and fundamental human rights, ensure democratic participation in national affairs, provide a solid foundation for good governance, and establish governance institutions. If these reasons are not enough to convince anybody to support this constitution, I don't know what else would. Because what I've just read are actually some of the fundamental errors or some fundamental flaws that the 1997 Constitution did not address. So we constituted the CRC to address those issues. And now we are turning around and saying, no, this is not good enough. This is something I just cannot understand. Honorable Speaker, when the CRC set out to work on this draft constitution, they consulted extensively in the Gambia and outside of the Gambia. And every single Gambian who cared to contribute any idea was given the opportunity, including this very National Assembly members. We have been engaged. We were given opportunities to contribute. And today, what is happening? None of us here would say that the consultation process was discriminatory. I don't think, because all the communities were visited in the Gambia and further afield. The consultation was extensive. And nobody would say, well, we are going to reject this constitution based on the fact that, the ideas of Gambians who cared to contribute anything was not considered. Nobody would say that. And now today, we are here talking as if nothing happened before, as everything was imposed on us. This is not fair. We cannot trivialize all the efforts of these great men and women of the Gambia who drafted this constitution, who contributed everything to make sure that they provide us with a constitution that is better than the previous one. How can we trivialize their efforts? I was listening to the debates yesterday, and I was disappointed at some of the statements that are uttered here. One of which is that the Constitution was plagiarized. Those who spoke about plagiarism may not necessarily mention the word plagiarism, but when you say you cut and paste, that essentially is plagiarism. That this constitution is a plagiarized constitution from the Ghanaian constitution. And in academia, lest they don't know, plagiarism means taking somebody's work or somebody's idea and pass it on as your own. But when you use somebody else's ideas or somebody else's work and you acknowledge it, that's not plagiarism. I think they need to educate themselves about plagiarism. So it's not a plagiarized constitution. And there is nothing wrong to borrow ideas from other ideas. We always adopt and adapt to suit our own situation. That is what they have done. That's not plagiarism, in case they don't know. Honorable Speaker, another issue that came up during the debate was on citizenship. A lot of people have expressed concern about citizenship, both within this assembly and outside of the assembly. But for me personally, this is my personal opinion, that citizenship must be jealously guarded. We have to protect our citizenship. Every country has their own peculiarities. So what is good in Uganda is not necessarily going to be good for the Gambia. So we have to understand our own peculiarities when it comes to that. Gambia is one of the smallest countries in Africa, yet one of the most populated countries in Africa. So we cannot allow our citizenship, we cannot just open the floodgates for everybody to come and become a citizen, automatically through birthright. Of course, the Constitution is clear. Nobody is barring anybody from acquiring Gambian citizenship, and that's clearly stated. There are channels, there are legal ways of doing it through either registration or naturalization. So I don't see anything wrong with that, Honorable Speaker. And then there is also the issue of ministerial appointments being confirmed by the National Assembly, and so many people expressed dissatisfaction with this particular law when it comes into effect. But for me, this is complementarity between the executive and the judiciary, not necessarily politicizing the whole exercise. When the executive nominates people for the ministerial position, they are brought to the National Assembly for vetting and confirmation. for me, that is complementarity. We're not necessarily going to subject anything to politics. But because, definitely we do have a lot of different political parties represented here. So I don't think nobody is going to politicize it if indeed the nation's interest is important to us. We will not politicize that appointment. I'm going to keep it short, and then, Honorable Speaker, with a final note, I would just want to say that rejecting this draft constitution is going to be one of the fundamental failures of this National Assembly and this government. It's going to be a fundamental failure for this National Assembly and the government, and it is also going to be a lack of respect for the Gambians whose wishes and aspirations we say we are representing in the National Assembly. So, Honorable Speakers, I would urge each and every one of us to vote in favor of this draft constitution. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I beg to take my seat. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Tumana.
I wanted to thank CR to usher in the Third Republic. And again, thank my fellow National Assembly members for the entire process too, because it was in a fateful day, or in a fateful month of December in 2017, the National Assembly of the Gambia established a Constitutional Review Commission to draft the country's third constitution. Both the current government and citizens appear to give or to agree that give numerous amendments to the Constitution and several undemocratic provisions. Developing a new Constitution that will meet the wishes and aspirations of the Gambians and the need for new Constitution cannot be overemphasized, Honorable Speaker. I really wanted to also take part in the debate. A lot have been said since last week up to now. But anyway, I believe with this draft constitution, we have the destiny of this country at hand or on our shoulders. We either preserve it or we throw it away. The destiny of this country is this draft constitution. And I believe as the member of parliament or members of parliament and people representatives, we should really support this draft constitution. On my behalf, and on behalf of the people of Tumana constituency, I am in support of this draft constitution. Honorable Speaker, the reason is this constitution is not my constitution. It's not the constitution of this parliament. It's not the president's constitution, neither the entire executive constitution, but this is the constitution of the people of the Republic of the Gambia. Because looking at the report, what the CRC told us here, the way and the manner, or the procedures that they followed to draft this constitution, that's the public consultations. That was very key, and we are all aware what has happened in this country. The CRC went around this country, the length and breadth of this country. You talk about the consultations in the Gambia, the face-to-face stakeholders consultations, focus groups discussions, face-to-face interviews, household surveys, public participation platforms. What else do we need? What else are we asking for as the people representative? If this is not enough, what else are we asking for as people representative? Please, honorable colleagues, the world is moving and the Gambia is not really moving. One of the reasons why we are not moving is because of the law that we have. It does not test, it does not serve the interests of the people of this country. And for us to build a better Gambia, we have to have a constitution that is going to serve for the supreme interests of this country, and that's the people. We are not only here to represent ourselves, we are here to represent the people of this country, that's the Gambian people. I believe that this document is in the supreme interest of the people of this country. If I have one or two things in the Constitution that did not favor me, and in fact, I have them in this Constitution. I have some of the clauses that did not favor me as an individual. But that does not necessarily mean that I should go against this entire Constitution. If I do that, means I am nothing but a disappointment to the entire nation. As a young man and as a young representative, I am seeing what is happening, the realities in other countries, even in our neighboring country here, Senegal. If the people, the long-serving parliamentarians in this parliament, did not give us the genesis of what has transpired in this country, I would not even know. The 1997 Constitution, then I was 7 years old. But we have all seen what has transpired in this country, the processes that it follows, and the processes that we want this one to follow. It's like the East and the West, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, like many people talked about the term of the president. I think this is very simple. The president, the current president of the Republic of the Gambia, unless if he did not want to stick to his words, he said he don't know anything about the affairs of government. He only wanted to serve the people of this country just for 3 years. But he is now given 5 years. If I was in his shoe, or if I am in his shoe, what is wrong if they did not include my current term in this draft constitution? Should I kill myself about that? I am not saying that's what he is doing, but many are defending on that dimension. And if we should do that, we are not doing justice to the people of this country. Today, a lot of people are following political parties. But politically, people are not aware. You go to this draft constitution and you compare it with the 1997 constitution, the NCCE 299, subsection 3. (299), Madam Speaker, subsection 3. Yeah, it's 138. You read about subsection 1, you read about subsection 2, you read about subsection 3, and you compare it to the 1997 Constitution, I believe the people of this country are not, majority are not politically aware. But this Constitution wanted to make it, or wanted to give the people the opportunity to be politically aware, to know what is really happening. Even with this draft Constitution, many majority of people don't even know what we are doing. But you compare this to the 1997 Constitution. Honorable Speaker, you go to the Section 296, the National Youth Development. I am a young man, a youth for that matter. This Constitution has catered for me, different from the 1997 Constitution. I should not only just follow the ambience of politics. I should not just only be clapping. I should not also just only be singing and dancing. But I am catered for in this draft Constitution. You go to the political representation. The 10% of the youth has to be, for every political party, should have 10% representative in this National Assembly. I think this is something that has given the opportunity to young people of this country to come and represent themselves and tell the people the way and the manner they want to be ruled. You talk about women representation. This is a very good Constitution, Honorable Speaker. And I believe the people, the honorable members of this House will really support this Constitution to get to the people. Either they accept it or not, that's left to them. But we have to pass this Constitution to the people. Honorable Speaker, the amount of money spent in drafting this Constitution is huge. The constituency, without a health center, 116 million can build first-class health center in my constituency. We want that money to go in vain like that. That should not be. Please, honorable members, I believe you are going to support this. I am with the conviction, I am really optimistic that you people are going to support this, honorable members. Please, let us support this draft Constitution. It is the Constitution of the people. Please, every Gambian is watching. Every Gambian is watching, and they want to know what we are going to do here today. Please, honorable members, let us support this draft Constitution, because it is the Constitution of the people. I think, Honorable Speaker, I wanted to buttress on certain points, but I think there is no need because majority of the members have spoken on those areas. So for that being the case, okay, the Section 157, I think this is very important. I am here representing the people of my constituents, who are Fulas, Mandinkas, Wolof, Sarahules, and any other tribe. But they really want to know what I am saying in this parliament. So to introduce a local language or national language in the parliament, to speak to them in the language that they understand, they know what I am saying. This Constitution has catered for that. This is why I said this is the people's Constitution, Honorable Speaker. Looking at the 1997 Constitution, if anyone wants to defend 1997 Constitution as your legacy, I am telling you, you are defending a very bad legacy. There are a lot of things in that 1997 Constitution that did not coupled with our current realities as a nation. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you.
Honorable members, we still have some more interventions, and it's almost getting to 2:30. So I'm just thinking of suspending this session for a short break so that we can stretch our legs. And if you agree, we come back at 3:30. Any suggestions? It's a proposal.
Let's have 2 more interventions.
Yes? Okay, so thank you very much. In that case, I will suspend the sittings and we'll resume at 3:30 to continue with the debate. We still have a couple of honorable members to make their interventions. Thank you. We suspend.